Welcome back to the channel. We're in the seat, which can only mean one thing. We're back talking Wrexham AFC transfer news. As you can tell by the title, it is a big one today. We're going to be talking about the potential signing of a £15 million striker. Uruguayan striker Federico Viñas is the latest player to be linked with a move up to North Wales. We're going to be discussing the ins and outs of this potential deal. Is he worth £15 million? His attributes, what he could bring to this Wrexham front line, and why he could be a really smart signing in this Phil Parkinson system. It's going to be a bit of a shorter one today as there's not much going on in terms of general club news at Wrexham. They've jetted out to the United States of America. There's not really going to be much going on in terms of incomings and outgoings, so it's a bit quiet, but we've got some big news that we're going to be talking about today. So before we get into today's video, again, I said it last video, I probably sound like a broken record. You can skip past this bit if you want, but it's free to subscribe. You've smashed the support over the past couple of months. We can continue that by potentially hitting 29,000 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. I think we're less than 200 away, so if you look down there and you haven't subscribed and this is your cup of tea, this Wrexham content on YouTube, then this is the place to be. Like I said, it's free to do so. Enough of the self-promotion, let's get taking a look at this latest rumour. So according to Uruguayan journalist Rodri Vazquez, Wrexham have submitted a bid to Leon in Mexico for 28-year-old striker Federico Viñas for a fee reportedly in the region of £15 million. Yes, 15 million. Wrexham could potentially be spending £15 million on a South American striker. Now, there's a storyline to this potential signing. There are a lot of clubs interested. The storyline surrounding it quickly is the fact that the in-demand striker is wanted by a whole host of clubs across the world. Mexican side Toluca have submitted a £13 million bid. That looks to be his wanted destination by player and agent, but Wrexham have come out and submitted a £15 million bid, which of course is higher in terms of the transfer fee, but we're way off in terms of his salary and his wages at this moment in time. Russian side Spartak Moscow are also interested, as well as an unnamed German side, but at that moment in time it looks as if the deal to Spartak and that potential German side are off the cards. So it is going to be a foot and foot race in between Toluca and Wrexham to get the signing of Federico Viñas, and it's evident that he's not short of offers, and I can see why after the season he's had for club and country. So if we are looking at Viñas as a striker now, he broke through the academy around 2018 in Uruguay in the second division for the side he was playing for. He had an immediate impact in that first season, helping them secure promotion to the top tier of Uruguayan football, and his performances, of course, in South America, there's going to be scouts watching you left, right and centre. He got a move to Club America in Mexico, originally on loan, where he spent 4 seasons. That first season he did spend at Club America, he hit the ground running immediately. What a spell that was. 8 goals in 15 games. Of course, at that moment in time, Club America thinking, we have got a gem on the cards. I'm assuming at the time there might have been a buyout clause, or they might not have demanded as much for Viñas because, you know, looking at the Mexican league, comparing that to the Uruguayan league, you're not going to have a Uruguayan team outperforming, you know, the likes of Club America, the big teams in Mexico in terms of wages and what they can offer to that player. So they signed him on a permanent deal. He went on to spend 4 seasons there at Club America in Mexico, scoring 24 goals in all competitions. Now, he did obviously have that really good spell, 8 goals in 15 games, really got going as soon as he arrived at the club, but after that he didn't really perform to what they saw in that original 15 game spell. And if you're looking at previous seasons, Leon signed him on a permanent deal, but for the past 2 years he has spent on loan at Real Oviedo, the first season being in La Liga 2 and the recent season 25-26 being in the La Liga, where he scored 9 league goals in 33 matches. He finished the 9th top scorer in La Liga, the top league of Spanish football, in what proved to be his second most successful season to date. Of course, if you're looking at Leon, he had that incredible 16 goal season there, but at this moment in time all Wrexham fans care about is the season just gone, and it's probably his best performing season to date in terms of the quality and what the league he's playing in. It's a high quality league, it's a very demanding league, the La Liga. Although Real Oviedo did go down, you're looking at some of his highlights, he did perform in that front line for them, especially with the serves that he probably didn't get that he should deserve. Now since then he's returned to Lyon this season, but it looks as if he's not going to continue at the club, because if you're going to be scoring nearly double digits in La Liga, you're not going to want to go back to the Mexican top tier, because your standards now are very, very high. You've proved you can do it in one of the top leagues in world football. He is going to want to get that move to a top tier side and get as much money as he can. So if we are looking at Viñas as a striker now, having done some in-depth research, I've looked at scout reports, I've looked through multiple minutes and tens of minutes of highlights of Viñas Viñas last season, and he almost seems a bit like a hybrid player to what Wrexham fans want in this system, what we want to sign in a striker, and what Phil Parkinson currently opts for up front. By that I mean a strong but creative striker, a bit of a mix between a fast striker who is very good technically, and then mixing that in with a player like Kiefer Moore who's got good hold up play, good strength, good in the air. So it is a hybrid, and I don't think many fans can have any complaints about that, because if you're getting those two qualities in one, then it is going to fit this system at Wrexham really well and sort of offer us something different that we don't have up front in terms of that creative side to a striker. Looking at his style of play, loves to drop deep. That's one of the things you will notice if Viñas does come to Wrexham. He's not one of those strikers that will just walk around the pitch. He's constantly on the move. He will drop deep for that ball. Even at the halfway line, he will come that deep, and once he does get the ball, he'll either drive at the defence, be really positive, get his head up and look to create that chance, or will play it out to the wing backs, or will look to get that opening in the final third. Once he's played that ball out to the wings, he will get himself in the box and become that presence inside the box, looking to get that cross on his head, on his feet, just really become a nuisance. And I know a lot of subscribers like it when I say it, but he is that fox in the box. And I think when you look at Viñas as a player, when you see him holding up the ball and using his body, you quickly understand that this is a Phil Parkinson striker, quote unquote. This is Phil Parkinson's bread and butter. He will have watched Viñas. We saw Phil Parkinson say that he wanted to sign a player from a World Cup. We had scouts out there. He was watching players at the World Cup. Obviously, Viñas represented Uruguay for 3 games in the group stage, played in all 3. So I can imagine he is one of the players that he did look at. And like I said, he matches Phil Parkinson's profile of a striker to an absolute T. You can also see as well the creative side of Viñas' game, where he picks up the ball deep in those positions, but really likes to, instead of getting rid of it straight away, like what you might see in Kiefer Moore and Sam Smith, Viñas loves to be a bit creative, loves to pick up the ball. He's got very good footwork. That is something as well that is really noticeable for him as a striker. His incredible footwork, which really does just complement his great technical ability. He's got very fast feet, can beat a defender, can drop onto the floor, and I think if you are looking at the main thing that we want from Viñas as a striker, it's his good ability in front of goal. His finishes are those of a traditional number 9 striker, all inside the box, all making those clever runs, good positioning inside the blind side of the defence, getting those balls where you might not see a striker getting those balls where, we might have played last season. The likes of George Thomason, you go back, I look at George Thomason last year and it was frustrating the amount of times he would put that low driven cross into the box, or that first time clever cross which might outsmart the defence that there was no striker in the box for. Viñas is the type of player that will read Thomason's mind before he's even kicked the ball, will make those clever runs into the box, and I can't help but think he would have an absolute field day on Thomason's side and whatever right wing back that Wrexham do want to bring in this summer transfer window. His positioning, absolutely incredible. His movement off the ball inside the box, also very, very good. And I just touched on it then, he did obviously represent Uruguay in the World Cup just gone. Of course, they did exit in the group stage. He played every single game. He started 2 of those against Cape Verde and the other one, and I think he did come on for the final 30 minutes in the Spain game. But after an early exit for Uruguay, it's unsurprising that Viñas didn't have the opportunity to really showcase himself to the probably thousands of scouts out there that were at the World Cup. And I think if you look at Viñas' attributes, it's pretty much everything that we want. It's everything I want from a striker. I'd love to see this kind of hybrid striker come into this system. I'd love a striker that's good technically, but is also good in the air, can bully the defence, can hold up the ball really well. And for a striker though that's only scored double digits in 1 season of his career, and that was in the Mexican top tier, is there a bit of concerns around the price tag? £15 million, 28 years old. It is an incredibly big gamble on Wrexham's side of things, and it's one that's certainly not guaranteed to pay off. Okay, if he'd scored 20 goals in the past 5 seasons straight, you can guarantee what you get from a striker, but he's very hit and miss in terms of his numbers. So yeah, it is going to be interesting, and if I was to play devil's advocate in this situation, there are also so many players out there in world football that peak at different ages of their career and at different times in their career, and this could be the start of Viñas' potential 2, 3, 4 years to come of consistent goal scoring, consistent good performances. And if we get one good season out of Viñas, if he comes into size of this Wrexham team, scores 15-20 goals, 5 assists to the Premier League. That £200 million promotion to the top flight of English football, I'm sure a lot of fans would completely forget the price tag that we did pay for him. So I think it is going to be an interesting situation, because it's clear that Phil Parkinson wants to slightly mix things up at the top of the pitch. Of course, bringing that player in that's going to have pace, good technically, as we've seen Bamba Dieng be linked, but I think he's off to a Turkish side, Viñas as well, so he's pushing hard to get another striker in through the door. It's proven to be quite difficult at this moment in time, but I'm sure we'll get our target in through the door, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think it'd be a good signing? Do you think Viñas would fit the system really well from what I've described? Do you think there's better / cheaper options out there to possibly go up in the front line? We'll have to wait and see what happens. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button as well. Just a pre-warning, I'm not going to be uploading any videos for the next week. I am away, so hopefully, fingers crossed, although I do want Wrexham to sign players, I don't want there to be any official signings because I don't want to miss them. So Wrexham, if you can hold out for another week, please consider doing so. But yeah, until the next one, take care guys, up the Championship Reds.